Stories are the drive to survive. My name is Asadumebi, and every week, I usually tell you a short story written by a Nigerian writer or author. But in celebration of the first year anniversary of this podcast, I'm launching Series Week, where I tell you stories over the course of 2 or 7 consecutive days. Basically, however long it takes to complete the story. Series Week will occur about once a quarter, and the stories featured will still be written by Nigerian writers and authors, and will either consist of a sequence of related episodes from one story or a set of stories linked by a common theme. That's the long and short of it. So without much ado, today's story is from the Lagos Uber Stories collection by Joshua Owolabi, and it's titled Ex-Big Man. Listen in tomorrow for another episode. Uber told me that I have made 700k since I started in July. I have been asking them where the money is. It was not a complaint, but a matter-of-fact statement when I asked about work. I bought 12,000 naira fuel this morning and I have not made the money back, not to mention profits. Before carrying you, I had completed only 3 trips and made 9k. With you now, it will get to 12k. How much is your ride? He asked. I checked my phone. 2,860 naira, I replied. Do you see? I will not even get to 12,000. That will be 11,380. I will need one more ride to get to 12k before I start looking for the profit, which I might not see. He showed me his car fuel gauge, which was nearly empty. My brother, this man who forced himself upon us is not doing well. I not get issue with him, but things not good at all. See me now. I am not an Uber driver. I just started because of how the country is. I used to make 1 million naira a month from my logistics business. I have fleets of bikes and 2 buses. Now I make less than 300k. Tell me, where do I start? I said nothing. There was nothing to say. He continued. Me, I am married with 2 children, and honestly, I have been thinking of selling all of my properties and leaving the country with my family. If I sell all that I have, I should raise 16 to 17 million, but will that be enough for 4 of us? I also have 2 lands that have not yielded much. I bought the 2 for 4 million naira 3 years ago. They are currently going for 6 million. And that's too small for what I want from that land, so I'm going to wait for it to bring serious money. I said nothing. He continued. My brother, I cannot leave this place without my wife and children. Likewise, I cannot allow them to leave this country without me. My friend who relocated with his family last year told me he works for 10 hours and told me not to come because things are hard. Which country is your friend? I asked. UK, oh. Is everyone not in the UK nowadays? Now he is telling me not to come. I spend 10 hours doing Uber daily. What is in 10 hours that I cannot do in the UK? Although it's Canada I would like to go. The way he talked, he sounded like one of those Igbo men with the type of chairs you see in the rich men's houses in a Nollywood movie. I am not a small boy, oh. If you see my house, I have those king-size chairs. You know those royal gold ones? I have them in my house like this. In the small parlor and in the big parlor. I used to be a big man. I smiled. Not at his lament, but at my correct assessment. I bought my inverter AC for 250k. And if you want to sell those things now, they will be pricing them ridiculously, especially when they know you are leaving the country. It is painful that things are this way. When I told my friends not to vote for this government, they said I was tribalistic and that I was supporting my brother. Now, one of them is so broke that he wants to join us and do Uber, but shame will not allow him. He told us that we will suffer when this man enters. As if he is not joining us in the suffering now. I foresay he sweet me, but me self, the suffering dey my body. A call came in from one of his logistic riders and he paused his narrative. That was Francis, one of my riders. He was with me when I started this business in 2020 during the pandemic. I made so much money. The delivery business gave me 1 million naira a month, but now I can only manage to see 300k. If I even see that 300k like this, I will first thank God before I touch the money and take care of my family. That was why I started doing Uber, to balance off. You can see that my car is not a regular Uber car. We get to a set of traffic lights, which are red, and stop. A little girl was quickly at the driver's side of the window, singing for him to give her money. He turned to her smiling and said, "You know, say now your people not make me and you see money chop like this. This one should be in school, but see where she is." He sighed and looked up to the traffic light, waiting for it to change. The little girl smiled, even though it did not look like she understood what he had said. The lights soon turned green, and the girl waved as the car pulled away. Like that girl now, many are begging in this Lagos. As much as I hate to admit it, I have to agree with him. Even though I have a fair amount of experience, I didn't want to interrupt. I live in Oba, so there's not many there. But every other place I have gone to in this Lagos, now so bros abeg get me left and right. In my area, I give the boys 500 naira, 200 naira, and they hail me twale and all of that. Me, I just run and I go my way. But it concern me. But she, you know, that little gesture favored me when there was fuel scarcity. Some boys were going from car to car, stealing fuel from tanks. Those boys did not allow those guys to touch my car. You know, say all of them na thief. So, thief, they beg thief, make you not steal my fuel. We both laughed. But for how long? Our politicians and the elites are the reasons why these boys are disturbing us. Instead of them to empower the boys, they use and dump them till the next assignment. Now, they harass us day and night. I told him I shared his sentiments and asked if he had heard of the Egbon Adubo ecosystem. He hadn't. The thing is, the politicians planted those boys to keep disturbing the area's peace. Once they do that, you will call the police and they will arrest them. So to you, the police are working hard to clean up the area. However, you will see the same boys in the evening doing the same thing you complained about earlier. I explained. I pointed to my drop-off point and he ended the trip. This time, my trip was added to the total number of trips completed for the day, and his total earnings were 11,380 naira. He called out his account number, and while I was trying to send him his money, he continued talking. Last week, by this time of the day, I had made 60k, and now I am struggling to reach 12k. This work can be somehow some days. I got distracted and sent him 2,800 instead of 2,900. I told him about the mistake and was about to send the additional 100 naira, but he asked me to forget about it. When you're big, I beg. Joshua Owolabi is a writer who resides in the United Kingdom. He is a content marketing manager for tech and non-tech companies. You can read more of his work on Medium at Joshua Owolabi and connect with him on Twitter at This Is Ayomi. Details and links will be in the episode description. If you've got a story you would like to be featured on this podcast, or a published book you want to make into an audiobook, send an email to info@osadumebi.com or send me a message at Osadumebi on either Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Twitter. I look forward to collaborating with you. And if you've enjoyed this week's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and tell a friend that stories are a good escape for a few minutes each week.